Hey guys, welcome back to my channel once again. This is Shivansh back with another video, and this particular video is based upon a video which I made last year, which was titled as the best beginners bikes of India in 2017. So this video is based upon the 5 motorcycles which I think are the best for a beginner to start learning how to ride on in 2018, especially based upon India. So last year I made a video regarding the 2017 5 beginners motorcycles, which consisted of the Bajaj Pulsar RS200, the Honda CBR 250R, the TVS Apache RTR 204V, the Bajaj Dominar and the Mahindra Mojo. So since then a lot of new motorcycles have been introduced in the Indian market along with updated features on the already existing ones. So the 5 motorcycles which I've picked for 2018 are the RTR 204V and the RS200. And now you might be thinking that these bikes were present earlier as well. Well, you're right, because these two are the only 2 out of the 5 which I think have continued to be so conquering over the Indian market that they deserve to be included in this list today. And the 3 new motorcycles in this list are the NS200, the Royal Enfield Himalayan and the KTM RC200. And you'll get to know why I've selected these bikes over others as you keep watching this video. So let's get this video started. So the first motorcycles which I'm going to talk about is the Bajaj Pulsar NS200, which is the new kid in the block. As all of you guys know already, the Bajaj Pulsar NS200 is a naked street fighter from Bajaj, coming from the DTSI Pulsar franchise of the Bajaj factory. So the new updated 2017 and 2018 BS4 iterations of the NS200 comes with interesting body graphics which look very visually appealing. And of course the main reason why I've included the NS200 in this list today is because of the inclusion of a very important safety feature known as the ABS, which was previously missing in the BS3 models. So coming over to the positives of the Bajaj Pulsar NS200 is of course the very enhanced refinement levels of this motorcycle, which has blown me away drastically. I recently had a chance to ride one a few days back, and you can watch that video in my channel. The refinement level of the Bajaj Pulsar NS200 thoroughly blew me away because at standstill the bike doesn't even feel like it's running. That's how refined and smooth it is. And along with the linear power delivery, this bike is nothing short of a competition on other 200cc motorcycles. Coming over to the negatives, the Bajaj Pulsar NS200 still doesn't get updated hardware like a DOHC setup. It still continues to get a single overhead cam, which makes this bike stress up a lot at higher RPMs compared to other motorcycles like the KTM Duke 200. So the second motorcycle in our list is the TVS Apache RTR 204V, which was present in last year's list as well. For the reason I've picked this again, because this bike has continued to be proven as strong of a machine as it was before, continuing to reign the Indian market. So this again is a naked street fighter, but the reason of me choosing this over other motorcycles in this category of course are the fact that the RTR 204V gets a lot of customizable options, such as an optional ABS, an optional fuel injection or a carbureted variant and of course the optional TVS tire or the Pirelli tires. So the options of you buying this motorcycles are very vast, and you can still pick the best motorcycle of your need along with the vast majority of options present in the market. Coming over to the positives of the TVS Apache RTR 204V, it comes from the Apache lineup, which of course has ruled the market ever since it was launched a decade ago. One look at this bike and you'll understand why this is probably the most ferocious sub 200cc motorcycle in the Indian market. It looks very premium and it gets a lot of updated features in the 200 which were not present in the 180 or the 160. Of course the new 160 gets them now, but the latest 180 hasn't gotten them yet. Coming over to the positives of the TVS Apache RTR 200, it gets an updated oil-cooled 200cc 4-valve 4-stroke engine which comes mated to a 5-speed gearbox. It produces around 21 PS of max power at the fuel injection variant and 20 PS of max power from the carbureted variant. The power figures might not seem that much, but once you crack open the throttle, the bike really speaks to you out on the open roads. The only downside of the TVS Apache RTR 200 which I can think of is the missing or the lack of a 6th gear, because at higher RPMs when you're taking this bike onto the highway, the engine feels a lot stressed and you can definitely feel the vibrations getting to you through the handlebar as well as the foot pegs as you take this bike to higher speeds. The third motorcycle in our list is the Royal Enfield Himalayan. Yes, I know I wasn't expecting Royal Enfield to make it to the list as well, but I recently had a chance to ride this motorcycle and I took it for a long spin. You can watch that video on my channel, and I was thoroughly impressed by how easy that motorcycle is to ride if you are not intimidated by the size of it. It looks very big and you might think it weighs a lot, but no, once you get this vehicle started and on the move, it is very easy to ride. And for somebody who's wanting to get into adventure riding, off-roading and trail riding, the Royal Enfield Himalayan will prove to be the adequate motorcycle as a stepping stone stone into greater adventure motorcycles. Yes, I know it's Royal Enfield, it has a lot of negatives like the parts are not being reliable, the rusting of parts after a certain amount of time, and a lot of evident vibrations on this motorcycle. I can say that the vibrations issue has been solved majorly, considering the first iteration of Himalayan had a hell lot of problems on this motorcycle. So a lot of issues have been resolved, and I can give you my personal thumbs up of having to go for this motorcycle if the need be. The Royal Enfield Himalayan of course doesn't make a lot of power. It makes around 21 PS and 32 Nm of torque if I'm not wrong, but higher power and top speed have never been the forte of the Royal Enfield motorcycles. The Royal Enfield motorcycles have always been based on their application and how they excel at it, be it the Classic, the Thunderbird, or the Himalayan, or the Continental GT itself. The Himalayan too has been built for a purpose of adventure riding, and it excels at it thoroughly. Now that we've looked at two street fighters and an off-roading bike, if you're somebody who likes to drag his knee onto the corners, likes to have higher lean angles, then the RC200 of the KTM will be the right bike for you. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say that why not the RC390 and why the RC200. First of all, I'd like to say that the ride quality of the RC200 is a lot better than the RC390, considering that the RC390 gets a lot of vibrations, heating issues, and of course it has a hell lot of power which might not be adequate for somebody who's just getting to ride the bike for the initial period. Now, I've ridden the RC200 and the RC390 a lot, so I know I can give my opinions on this motorcycle as a part user. Now, I know on the track RC390 is a better motorcycle, but 43 PS of power along with the lesser weight gives it a really high power to weight ratio, which might not be the best for somebody who's just getting to ride the motorcycle on their initial period of learning. And that's the exact reason why I've chosen the RC200, which gets 24.5 PS of power and 19 Newton meters of torque, which might be adequate for somebody who's getting to ride this bike, won't be necessarily scared of the bike. So the KTM RC200 of course gets a lot of positives as dual projector headlamps, very sticky MRF tires which sticks really well to the tarmac, but you have to get them up to the temperature first. The only downside of the RC200 I can think about is that it doesn't get ABS even as an option in 2018. But nonetheless, if you're somebody who considers himself or herself as a track junkie and wants to learn how to knee drag and look cool on a motorcycle, then the KTM RC200 might be the right bike for you to buy. We've seen two naked motorcycles, an off-roader and of course a track bike. But what if you want something that can do it all? What if something which excels at all of it might be your thing? An all-rounder is probably what you're wondering about. Then enters the Pulsar RS200, the bike which I think is the perfect all-rounder in all these categories we've mentioned so far. Yes, it's a full-fledged bike, but you can definitely ride it around the city because of the comfortable ergonomics of the raised handlebars, and of course it does have this slightly rear set foot pegs which will prove very helpful if you're taking this bike out on the track. Of course, Pulsar organizes this event, Pulsar Festival of Speed, where track racing is being done on these motorcycles, so of course you can do track days on them as well. Off-roading, I wouldn't be so sure about it, and it's of course not recommended, but the need be, the bike can take some beatings to it, as much as I've seen from my friend who owns this motorcycle. So of course there is a lot of positives about this motorcycle, considering the amount of equipment it gets for the very less price that it demands. It gets optional single channel ABS, it gets dual projector headlamps, it gets the patented Bajaj triple spark DTSI engine. The RS200 being a fuel injected motorcycle, the engine is that much more responsive and the power just urges out that much faster. RS200 has very less to complain about considering the amount of hardware and equipment it gets for the price it has. But if I do have to point out some negatives, I'd firstly say that it doesn't get a dual channel ABS. Come on, we're in 2018. The Bajaj Pulsar can definitely do with a dual channel ABS, considering the TVS Apache series have had the dual channel ABS from a decade. So Bajaj, if by chance you're seeing this video, I request from myself and other owners as well to please have the inclusion of a dual channel switchable ABS in the RS200. So that was it about this short video of me talking about the 5 motorcycles which I think are the best for a beginner in the Indian market, and in no way am I attempting to promote or defame any brand through this video. So that was it about this video, and I'll see you soon in the next video. So take care, bye bye, and over and out.